Well, good afternoon. Thank you for coming. I know it's been said many times, but we do appreciate, partners, clients, and agencies and so on being here, and customers, of course. So thank you very much for that. And we're joined, as Michael said, by a diverse crowd of people. Richard, Michael, and Aaron, come up on the stage, and we can find out the state of affiliate marketing in 2023. Take a seat, guys. Cool. So obviously, it's a big subject, affiliate marketing. And just as a show of hands here, how many people would you say are familiar with affiliate marketing in terms of understanding what it is and so on? Cool. And how many of those people would say would be very sophisticated affiliate marketers? You can put your modesty aside there. Ben, I'd like to see your hand up. That's nice. So, okay, cool. So quite a sophisticated audience. So generally, I think, there's been so much talk, with interest rates and inflation and so on, a lot of this sort of sassacre that companies are struggling to do rounds of funding and so on. And, against that backdrop, what is affiliate marketing in terms of growth and as a cost-effective channel? And we've got three experts sort of in the space generally. And so let's maybe start at a sort of high level in terms of, could you give a brief introduction of, who you are and how you see generally the affiliate space, Michael?
Starting with me?
Start with you. Yeah, let's start with you.
All right. Well, my name is Michael McNerney. I'm the publisher of Martech Record. We're a B2B trade publication that focuses on affiliate marketing. And my perspective comes at it from the publisher point of view. I spent a lot of time kind of in more traditional publishing space and watched kind of the collapse of traditional media about 15 years ago. And so for me, affiliate marketing is this tool that a publisher can use to monetize in a way that really they hadn't been using until recently. Affiliate had been this kind of secret, I think, a secret of the kind of the coupon cash back, and a secret for a lot of reasons, but it's suddenly being adopted by literally anyone who publishes content. And those people are still figuring out the right processes, right, the right culture, the right relationships. And so I'm very bullish on the market because it just isn't very efficient right now. And if you're trying to connect with a content publisher, a influencer, a bank that is also a publisher, it's not that easy to find the right people. It's not that easy to find the right pricing, but it's obviously a very good model. And so that's why I'm very excited about it. I'm excited about any market where you see the future and you understand that if you can build some more efficient pipes and systems, that there's a lot of potential for growth. And so that's why I founded Martech Record and why we're very bullish on what's going on here.
Yeah, and Aaron, you were speaking earlier about, you've got a relatively new business, right, that's seen a lot of growth, and that's been driven, am I right in saying, predominantly through the affiliate channel as a whole? And how would you well, first of all, could you give a brief introduction and kind of sketch that out of how that sort of appears?
Yeah, for sure. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Paul Street. We're in our infancy. We started the affiliate agency in December, but we're growing really fast. We're at almost 20 employees really, in 6 months. We're onboarding probably 5 to 8 brands a month at this stage. We don't work with brands that do under 50 million a year in revenue, right? We're here to scale their business. So for us, if you come to us, we are not here to figure out your business. We're here to scale it up. Now, for brands that do 50 million a year and up, you can definitely confidently say that they've tried affiliate marketing many, many times before they got to us. And the way we like to call it is, they're coming to us with distressed programs. And that's been a lack of, I think, education about the power and the impact that a true, intentional, strategic partner program can have, but also just where to invest and where to lean back. We're seeing a trend. I think we're a good use case or just a testament of brands really thinking about affiliate marketing in this year, right? Growth and TV and other channels and Omni are hard to attribute, and they now want to invest more in a partner program. So we're a testament to that growth and that awareness in affiliate. But yeah, we totally like take a lot of time in approaching each brand with the right type of partner. The trend for us has been focusing more on definitely more intentional content partnerships and growth partnerships, which are like our media buying affiliates, creator-based partnerships. So how do you work with Gordon Ramsay, a Jake Paul, a Kevin Hart on a CPA model? So we're piloting that out right now. And we've seen a trend with our brands, specifically, just in my experience, go down with couponing. One of the first things we do is turn off coupon sites, purely because we've seen that for a brand that is under 200 million a year in revenue, you're still trying to find where the quality customer is coming from, like where to invest those dollars in. And we're starting to see that affiliate up at that stage is starting to get really messy with a lot of, top of funnel, mid funnel, and bottom of the funnel, like type of affiliate sources. So we really want to focus our strategy on top of funnel by content and growth partners, and then ease our way up once those are dialed in. There's value in every type of affiliate source. Ours is identifying which one works the best for our brands in that given moment.
Cool. And in terms of sort of messiness, I mean, Richard, these are the problems that you solve, right? In terms of the sort of the developer on this side of sort of building something so that it is beautiful for people. Is it possible you can, again, give a brief introduction and talk about what you do and how you help the affiliate space?
Yeah, so my name's Richard Marshall. I'm the sales director at Shoptivity Labs. We specialise in the production of B2C e-commerce platforms. And obviously, that can be inside the affiliate space and outside of the affiliate space. One of the problems that we see quite often is sites are built poorly, terrible security, they're not scalable, they're terrible customer journeys, they're messy, they're low converting, they're confused. And what we try and bring to the industry is sites which are highly optimized, sites which are highly scalable, and sites which are designed primarily to convert, especially in the affiliate market. Sites that are designed about conversion. Now obviously in some of the more in the B2C market, the non-affiliate market, you're looking for slightly other things. But the main issue we find, is sites that are poorly built, poorly designed, poorly understood, and on that basis, they have really, really poor conversion rates. And I suppose the other problem as well is people are trying to use platforms such as WordPress, et cetera, to deal with quite large operations, and that comes with a lot of problems, both security, maintainability, scalability, et cetera.
Cool. Well, obviously, one of the themes there is kind of scale, right? I mean, obviously, Everflow, there's a lot of features within scaling the longer tail of your affiliates and providing automation to the users. Like, what sort of, Michael, on your side, like, in terms of, say, like, the affiliate space and scaling and so on, like, what areas have you seen growing fast in terms of either channels or methodologies of growing affiliate business?
I think there's kind of two things I think about when I think about scale. One is a trend over the past few years was kind of a lot of M&A activity in the publisher space. A lot of small publishers kind of being gobbled up by holding companies or private equity. And the theory was, if we can grab all this audience together, then we can apply affiliate model and we can scale up very easily, right? And I think we're in this interesting time right now where we're going to find out if that worked, right? And I think this probably happens in every market, right? Is you've got some bankers who've got some good ideas, they make a bunch of acquisitions, and then operational challenges come, right? And everyone in this room kind of knows that it's not that easy, right? You can't just put an audience together, plug in some deals, and suddenly drive a boatload of revenue. So I think we're seeing that happen, and the technical, operational, cultural challenges that go into building those organizations are at play right now in a market that is also in a holding pattern, right? And so I don't know if there's an answer right now for that. The other interesting scale conversation that we're having is something we all talked about in the prep, which is literally everyone is a publisher right now, right? Is you can be anyone from an influencer to a bank that just has a big audience and a website, so you turn it into a publishing company, real estate company, I think, as we were talking about. And so anyone with a website suddenly has the ability to become a publisher, and especially one that has a ginormous amount of scale against it, right? But I think we're at this point where we're trying to figure out what the operational challenges actually are to building those, which to me is super interesting as an operator myself.
Yeah. And the scale, you mentioned obviously that, you know, when we were chatting earlier, that things are kind of growing pretty fast, right?
Yeah.
From a standing sort of get-go.
Yeah.
Like, what you know, tools or tricks could you share here in
Yeah.
terms of like how you've managed not only just to scale brands, but in terms of like the affiliate side of things? What has been conduits that have allowed you to scale quicker?
Yeah, great question. So for us, a strategy that works for goalie nutrition is not going to work for athletic greens. Like every brand is going to have its own unique strategy and intent around how we approach it in the first. Like that's where it starts. I feel like the way we're very like open and transparent with our brands. We're expensive to work with. That's because we know what we're doing. But we go to them and say, hey, within 3 to 5 months, if we're not averaging at least, if you want to do it at a sales per day number, if we're not doing at least 200 to 300 sales a day, we're going to cut you off, right? That is the type of scale that we're looking at. And like, to be honest with you, like last week I let go of 3 brands, right? Which is unheard of in the agency space, but like that's truly because affiliates have all the leverage. I don't care if you're a Nike, I don't care if you're a brand that's doing 200K a day in revenue, like affiliates have the leverage. They're the ones that set the deals, and like we also want to make sure that we're educating our affiliates about that, right? So some of the things that we looked at, we were talking about this earlier, is a true affiliate would rather have a brand or a page or a funnel convert really high as opposed to giving them a $500 payout, right? If I can say, hey, this product converts or this funnel converts consistently at like 8 to 10% from click to conversion by way of direct response elements, advertorials, just overall brand presence that we work with Hexclad, which is Gordon Ramsay's brand. You're going to see a Gordon Ramsay ad on TV or read about it somewhere else. And then when our affiliate's talking about it, those like elements of awareness is going to help our affiliate, right? So we look into all of this and we create that perfect funnel. And if that can convert at at least 8 to 9%, affiliates are a lot more excited about that because now it becomes predictable, right? Rather than, hey, here's a $600 CPA. Like they don't want that. Like, they're not here to figure that out for them. They're looking for scale. So that's one way in terms of how we approach it. Additional ways is they're all tied in with each other. I was having a conversation earlier today where, publishers are great. Creators are great. To me, the value from a publisher and a creator, 30% of the value that I attach to them is their audience. 30%. So if a New York Post is talking about Hexclad and we drive sales from that, 30% of that is the value that I get out of the New York Post. 70% of the value is for me to go to the New York Post and say, give me whitelisting opportunities and give me those rights where I can take a media buying affiliate, connect their Facebook ads, and I give my media buying affiliate a CPA, and they get to run ads to that New York Post article and convert by way of that. So finding and going, I think, above and beyond just the straight, hey, here's a payout, here's the link, go make real strategic partnership deals, and that's where you scale. Because now I can go, and there's value add, I can go and say, this affiliate is driving 400 sales a day by running to a New York Post article, and they're converting 10 times more than running to your .com. Because most brands, as we talked about, they don't design their flows think about affiliate in mind. They design their flows for general awareness, right? So we have to go just do a little bit more work and build a funnel that is native to the channel from where that customer is being introduced to the brand. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. And Richard, obviously this is your kind of bread and butter, this whole sort of flow optimization. But maybe before on that, like scale, one thing that people do forget with affiliates is that you need to actually pay them. Like you can run an affiliate program, but if you're not paying them on time, it's kind of a complete waste of money. So for those that don't know, our good friends at Tipalti, you should definitely see those guys that can assist in the payment processing side. But like Richard, on the on that kind of importance of that flow, you were saying earlier, poorly designed websites that have too much within them. Again, just to sort of share so that people could take some learnings. Like, what things have you found that are inhibitors of scale when people are, going through and actually making those purchases that we can all learn from a technical perspective of these are the changes that we need to make?
Sometimes it's a triumph of visual design over an ability to convert. Yeah. You'll get a designer who will design the most fantastic, zingy, brilliant looking website. Yeah. But nobody can find out where they're going to check out on the site. Nobody can find out where the calls to action are. Yeah. And so you've got a really poorly converting site. I think one of the other issues with these sites is the customer journey in general. Yeah. You'll find that they're not designed with the customer journey in mind as a primary factor. Yeah, they're designed to look visually great. Yeah, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to sell stuff to people. Yeah, we're here to convert. So you need to take the best way between A and cash. Yeah, and that is providing the best customer journey that leads you to convert. And that's one of the primary failures. I think another issue is we're talking about scalability, is using an appropriate platform that allows you to scale quickly, yeah, which is the other problem. So, as an example, like if you're running, if you're running a WordPress or a site like that, they're really difficult to scale. They're really difficult to roll out into new countries. You're replicating the sites. Something like Shopify, and I'm not saying you have to use Shopify because there's other platforms out there that will do a similar job, but these platforms are designed to be enterprise platforms, yeah, and they're designed to be able to be scaled quickly, go into language versions, use multiple payment gateways. They've also got an incredibly good scalable payment gateway themselves, yeah, fantastic support, great uptime, yeah. And
this was Everflow. Oh, no, Shopify. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Also, they integrate with Everflow really well.
They
Shopify, really easy integration. Really easy integration with Shopify. So those are the top sort of things that you need to be thinking about.
And like when we think of affiliates, like they can sometimes be in different buckets, of let's say influencers or content producers and things like that. Like Michael, like you're in the content space. Like how do you sort of define kind of like the value of content in terms of taking people from the top of the funnel into sort of the bottom part that Richard's talking about? Like what are the hooks in terms of creating content so you can actually get that audience so that you can start optimizing things laterally?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's probably a little different for everybody, but one of the themes that we talk about a lot and have kind of bubbled to the top on Martech Record is the idea of affiliate as distribution. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, if you're a brand manager for Cheerios, just as important to your job as the TV commercial you put on was making sure the box of Cheerios sat in the right spot in the aisle, right? It was at eye level, it was next to the other products that helped secure that sale. The checkout was easy, right? And I think a little bit of that has gotten lost in e-commerce, especially in the affiliate space where you have partners. But the reality is the modern day shelf space is your partner's website, right? And if you think about it that way, the brand or the CMO should be intimately involved in who you're partnering with and why you're partnering with them. So your strategy in terms of content should be aligned with your overall go-to-market, your overall marketing strategy. So the TV ads, the branding you're putting behind that should be, as Aaron pointed out, that should be reinforcing what happens when you get to that website. It should be consistent. You should feel this is the same brand. If you have a discount strategy and pricing strategy should be applied, you should be working with the appropriate content providers for that. If you have a new product launch, you're going to want to work with the right influencers or whatever. But it should be aligned with this overall marketing strategy, your pricing strategy, your product strategy, your promotion strategy, the 4 Ps basically. And so I think that's where kind of content comes into play. Is it relevant to your brand and the way you've been communicating it? And conversely on that, just to tie this up, is if you're a publisher, and you buy into this theory, then you're not just selling ad space, you're selling shelf space. And you're selling something that is curated, it's trusted. When you click on it, you don't go to a site that doesn't give you the consistent experience you expected from that publisher and from that brand. So it is all about conversions, but it's about the marketer and the publisher being, not to overuse the term strategic, but create a strategic partnership.
Yeah. And before jumping back to you, Aaron, on Richard, like I know that you got experience as well in terms of like seeing the value of like first touch attribution and content-led partners and how that can help scale, right?
Yeah, so obviously, some of the people we work with are they're basically a content site, subscription-based sites. They're supplying content, and on the back of that content, they're then working with people like Michael, in order to deliver that content which delivers value and then delivers opportunities. Yeah, and those opportunities might be affiliate opportunities, might be their own product, might be whatever, but it's trying to drive people to the site for something other, than just, an affiliate opportunity. It's trying to engage them, with content that's interesting, which they can learn from, which they feel is applicable to their lives, which is something that they feel adds value to them. And on the back of that, there are offers and various products and services that they can be offered on the back of that because they're bought in at that point. They're bought into the whole ethos of the platform they're on. And in many cases, these are subscription-based platforms.
And Aaron, like, what would you sort of echo on the content side? And it'd be great to get your thoughts on also, like, you mentioned pricing strategy and discounting strategy. I know you had some sort of thoughts on that. So where does like content fit in, and also some thoughts on the pricing and discounting and stuff?
Right. Content is always king, right? Content is what evokes an emotion and gets people to like follow it. And for us, we want to be content-led and content-driven. That's what enables the success of a lot of our campaigns. But for us, content drives it to a designed offer or a design like value prop or an incentive in the sense that it's actually adding value to that customer. So that we're making it really like dumb and stupid if you don't purchase it in that given moment. So that's sort of the approach we want to take there. So for us, we're always hunting for the best story writers, and also that's what we're looking for with brands is Goalie Nutrition, Care of Vitamins, Persona Nutrition. They're all vitamins, right? What is the better story? That's what affiliates want to go. Now marry that with a great offer and marry that with the right payout, and then that is a tap that's not like slowing down, right? It's going to keep going. So that's the one thing that we double down on.
And sorry to talk across you there, but say like content, like, content obviously is important, but like what are the real nuggets of creating really great content? Do you have experience in that? Because like, there's so much stuff out there. Like what really is the real hooks that can get people in? Is it about kind of appealing to, Maslow's hierarchy of needs of like, okay, maybe we've got something that makes your house smell fresh, and really what it is so that you're buying that product so you're not embarrassed when people come in and get a bad smell. That's actually what people are sort of buying. So what are the hooks that you've seen are really successful in content that could be applicable that other people can use?
Yeah, so like part of what we do at Paul Street is we like to test different angles, and we own a separate media entity called Department Media, where we own and operate about 30 publishers and sites, right? And we also have access to just real creators that have probably get like 3 to 5 billion views a month on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So for us, like we have this ground of testing angles and content. We want to go work with brands where there's continually stories to be told, right? So by way of celebrity like partnerships or dropping new products or reviews where people's lives were changed, right? So for us, it's going and identifying elements of opportunities to talk about and then creating the story around that, right? So it's not really like we're creating it out of thin air, which we obviously do sometimes, which everyone in the room gets it. But for us, we want to hook it on something that's real and people are thinking about. And also, keeping your like pulse on culture and identifying what people are talking about and searching for and trying to find a path where your brand can like piggyback off of what people are thinking about and talking about in that given moment. Now, when you double down on this, it's a flywheel that attracts like the best publishers in the world. Like they will come knocking at your door being like, hey, we would love to like keep talking about you guys. Then that's when we throw out CPC deals out the window and like retainers out the window, and they truly want to work with you on a performance-based model, right? So those are some like tactics that we take for content. Now, discounting is an important part of, like, to just answer your question there, the second part, discounting is an important part of like someone's journey in terms of, purchasing the product. Where it can get a little messy is couponing. Couponing isn't a strategy, it's a tactic, right? So for us, we've identified that, at scale, coupon hunters and seekers are not where we want to be investing our dollars in. We want to be investing into people where we can, because look at consumer spending. Consumer spending has pretty much, it's not that they've gone down, but they're just being much more intentional as to where they're purchasing their product. One of the brands we're talking to right now is a $6,000 cold plunge tub, right? $6,000. They did $50 million last year, and they will do double that this year. You're telling me that people are mindful of spending and consumer spending is going down? No, they've designed a value in an angle, and people are truly seeing the value of that product and continuing to spend that, right? So for us, we don't want to be seeking discount chasers in this moment because it's impacting LTV and customer retention at scale. Like 3 to 6 months from after like that initial burst of sales from couponing, we were all celebrating, and 3 months later, we were like, that's the worst LTV cohort that I've ever seen. But there is still value in discounting. So the ways that we tackle that is really driving or giving our publishers and our affiliates the messaging to use to drive people to an offer where they can get a discount or an incentive. Or we'll ask them to submit their email to get a unique discount in that moment in time, so that's not replicated, right? So these are some of the tactics that we enable to still provide that discount element. And for some brands, we've seen value in, owning brand.com/coupon. Like that would be the website. We will bid against it. We will like throw a lot of ads behind that page. But when you come to that page, instead of going to like a coupon site, you're now coming to a .com that the brand owns, right? It is ranking high in search because we're throwing a lot of spend behind it. And people can come in, submit their email, submit their information. This now becomes an opportunity for us to allow the brand to collect zero-party data. And in reward for that, you get a discount code that you can go purchase the product that you really want to buy. And a discount or a coupon was the limiting factor. So these are some of the ways that we use discounts to our advantage rather than falling at the mercy of coupons and lack of attribution and things of that nature.
Yeah, cool. Because I mean, the whole sort of space is pretty cluttered in terms of all the different channels. Like from a marketing sort of technology perspective, Michael, like what tools do you see people kind of regularly using? I mean, obviously you can use Taboola and Outbrain for native and all this kind of stuff. What within, like, if people are serious about affiliate marketing, like what should they have within their kind of marketing tech stack?
Well, clearly Everflow. I think that's the obvious. No, you need an affiliate marketing platform, right, that is going to track, report, and you need a payment tool attached to that, right? Beyond that, it probably depends on, what your strategy and tactics are, right? But that's the core of what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And if you have a good service team on top of that, like Aaron, you can do quite a bit there. So, beyond that, it gets very tactical, right? And obviously, like a company like Everflow has relationships with, the other technology providers, whether it be some sort of analytics tool or whatever it is you're trying to track. Some people really just want revenue from the affiliate channel, right? And you can look at that, pull it out and say, all right, we made our number, right? Other people want to be able to attribute and say, hey, this is how it plays against, all of the other channels that we're working with. And that's when you need something a little more sophisticated, right? So it depends. I did want to go back to the content question a little bit.
Sure.
I thought that was an interesting kind of path you guys went down. And I thought about it for our own business, and it's not content for content's sake, right? The question is, what does content give you, right? And then, and to me, it produces trust, right? If you do it well, right? If you're producing quality content, you're producing trust. And what does trust produce? To me, it's a quicker decision, right? We're writing about enterprise technology solutions, and if we can cut someone's decision-making down by 24 hours, there's a lot of value in that. But I don't think that's any different than making a decision about a pair of shoes, right? If you can, make my day a little bit easier when I'm, reading about different whatever, I got a little more time back in the day, right? And so, the end product of content is quicker decision-making by consumers, by enterprises, and then if you get into the technology, how you track that is a whole nother conversation that we could probably spend the next hour on. You asked me a big question there. It's attribution, how how that flows into your own KPIs.
Yeah. And obviously, we've got great content that's engaging, gets people into the flow, and then they make that purchase. Like Richard, how much from a technical perspective, the nuts and bolts of, let's say, things like adding to basket and things like that, or joining a subscription, what are the values that you've seen? And again, what are the tools and tips that you could share to the audience of how much that can actually transform a business from adding a subscription or adding something to a cart or similar?
Well, in terms of subscription payments, is obviously depending on what your site is, what your business model is, where you're going, because in some cases it's really difficult to sell a subscription, justifying a subscription service. But if you're talking about from the technical perspective, something like Recharge, is a fantastic tool, for subscription management. And it bolts into most of the major platforms out there. And that is a fantastic piece of kit. If you're running Shopify and you're running at scale, then Shopify Pay is perfect because it gives you a much cheaper payment gateway, than you would get using a third-party payment gateway. That is one of the issues you can get with third-party payment gateways. Can end up being quite expensive depending on where you're going. Shopify Pay can be at scale, a lot more cost-effective. I think some of the other things is looking at the markets you're in. So, for instance, in India, there's cash on delivery. So you need a payment delivery provider. You need somebody who's going to be able to provide that cash on delivery service through your payment gateway system. Some payment gateways are good in some countries, some are good in others. Some charge more in some countries, some charge less. So you need to be strategic about what you're doing, where you're delivering it. Whether you're going to use PayPal, whether you're going to use whatever. And I think that is there's too much just thinking, let's put Stripe in and go for it. We'll do that everywhere because it's easy. Without thinking about what is the best option for the market you're working in. And how that's going to operate. And the currencies, the conversions, all the rest of this type of stuff. Sometimes there isn't enough long-term thinking in these things. Because it's about instant gratification. We need something, we need it now. Let's get it up there. Whereas what you should really do is stand back and think about what you want. And actually plan where you're not going to be just today, but where you're going to be tomorrow, where you're going to be next week, where you're going to be the week after that. Because building something and then having to burn it down and start again can be quite expensive.
Buy cheap, buy twice, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I've worked with a lot of customers who've bought cheap and bought more than twice. And that burning what you've done down to the ground and starting again is not only costly, it can really interfere with your business.
You mentioned different markets and say India and stuff like that. I suppose one thing that we were talking about earlier is that some people fear affiliates because it's kind of like a lack of transparency, right? It's like this black box that goes into if someone in India is promoting my product or whatever. What are your general thoughts on sort of transparency and how that kind of works, and how transparent should you be with your channels back to your brands? Do you want to take that one?
It's extremely important, which is why I threw my name on the company. I'm the dumbest person when it comes to affiliate marketing in my company, which is also fun. But really why we did that is more than the tactics, more than the strategy, I think the secret to our growth has been trust and transparency. Sounds vague, sounds cool. What does that mean? For us, it's leading in, take in growth partners or media buying affiliates as an example. The history of those affiliates have been an arbitrage model where you pay the network X dollar, let's say $80, the affiliate gets 60, you don't know who's running it, it's an affiliate ID. There's still value in that, but for us, we've identified for there to be a long-term partnership, we need to make sure that we're letting, or at least giving our affiliates point of view from the brand side, and also teaching our brands to respect the affiliate. How do we do this? Is we get them on calls together, we're in group chats together, 100% of the payout goes to the affiliate, and really that's where a lot of our growth has come from in terms of those long-term partnerships. Onnit, which is Joe Rogan's brand, we've been running them for probably 4 years at this point, just from having run that relationship prior to Paul Street. The same 8 to 9 affiliates that we ran 4 years ago, they still generated about 600 sales yesterday, just on that one offer. And the brand knows who they are, where they live. They meet once a year, twice a year in person. So there's a lot of value that comes in from trust and transparency. Also, on the publisher side, a lot of publishers are typically just limiting themselves where we typically get 10% of order, 20% of order. We teach our brands to not view affiliate as a channel to bring down your CAC, because if you're telling me that you're comfortable paying Facebook $120 for a net new customer, pay that $120 to Vogue, pay that to Condé Nast, pay that to Fit Healthy Mama. So we teach our brands also to see value in that channel. Affiliate is a growth channel. It's not a channel to bring down your CAC, in my opinion. So those are some of the ways that we've allowed that trust and transparency to just amplify our growth, all with the purpose of building stronger relationships. Because you get one shot with an affiliate relationship, one shot, that's it.
Yeah, definitely echo that. And Michael, from say the boardroom perspective in terms of transparency on the affiliates, do you think the affiliate space is becoming more acceptable as a channel that people can openly sort of talk about in terms of their growth strategy rather than just buying on Facebook and Google? And how do you think that it sort of from an optics sort of perspective?
It's a good question, and I think the answer is, I don't know if it was a yes or no question, but the answer is yes and no. I think that what's happening is the affiliate model is being used all over the place, but it's not being reported as being affiliate up the chain always. And I'll give you an example. As we did this, I interviewed a bunch of CMOs or senior marketing people kind of about their marketing spend. And I would start and I would say, tell me about your affiliate marketing. And they would almost always say, we don't do any affiliate marketing. And I'd say, okay. And then we'd move on to other channels, how you spend, the trends. And at the end, I'd say, are you working with Wirecutter? And they, we work with, all the time. They're fantastic. They do great stuff for us, right? And so, I suspect there's some translation up the chain of command. You get the affiliate managers reporting, here's the revenue, here's the partners we worked with. That goes to a VP of digital who goes to the CMO and says, well, we're working with the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, and it's all going great. And here's the money we made, right? And so, on one level, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Your affiliate's working. On the other hand, what's starting to happen, I think, is affiliates being adopted by a lot of other channels, and they're just not calling it affiliate. And so PR, right? Any PR person who's talking to a commerce editor, is doing affiliate marketing. They're not calling it affiliate. They're charging a lot more for it, by the way. And that's happening in these other channels as well. And so I think that the good news is affiliate is growing. If you're just looking at, publishers that are being compensated a percentage of sale and paid after the sale, if that's how you're defining the affiliate market. The threat to affiliate marketers is everyone else is starting to get in on the game. And there's some smart people out there who are starting to understand this. And so where affiliate, I think, had this advantage before of kind of being its own little box and being able to kind of have their own little parties and drive revenue and be left alone, I think those days are largely over, right? And if you're smart, if you're like the people on either side of me, you're in a good position because you understand what you're doing and can grow your business significantly. If you think you're going to be able to hide in the corner, I just don't see that happening for much longer.
Well, you mentioned smart people, and I think that kind of sort of wraps. We've got some smart people in the room, I'm sure, so it'd be great to get some smart questions. If anyone's got anything to ask these guys here. Kamwar's a smart guy. This must be a smart question.
Your point about the cold plunge tub or other such. Oh, so my question is around high-ticket, high-value items like the cold plunge tub example that you gave. Do you have a sense of how many interactions or impressions it takes for a buyer to actually make that sort of a purchase? Is it, it surely can't be just, you see an ad and you click on it. I mean, it could be influencer-driven. Maybe it varies by the channel, but it'd be good to kind of get your thoughts on it, or whatever data you have as to how many interactions or impressions it takes for that decision to happen.
Great question. So for high ticket items like a cold plunge or like an H-Sleep, these are incredible brands that drive a lot of revenue, but they're expensive. And they're expensive because there's value attached to it. They're solving a pain point. With an H-Sleep, you're sleeping much better. You're not, I use it, I sleep cold and my wife sleeps hot and it's saved our marriage, right? So MF20 if you guys want to use the code. With a cold plunge, you get in, you feel mental clarity, you're attaching a set outcome with these high ticket items, right? So now if you bring affiliate marketing to it, I can give an affiliate a $3,000 CPA to convert on a $6,000 tub. It's not very it's impossible to attribute that sale to an affiliate because there's so many different channels that are driving, awareness to it. And that's what we look for is for a high ticket item, is your retention dialed in? Is your TV dialed in? Is your influencer dialed in? Is all of this dialed in? And then we go and say, we don't believe that this is going to be a rev share model. We don't believe this is going to be a CPA based model, but more a model where you're collecting emails. Because at high ticket items, you become a retention based marketing team, not an acquisition-based marketing team. And in that stage, we look at incrementality. We don't look at attribution. We can't go look at Facebook, and Facebook's gonna say they drove the customer, and we're gonna go to TikTok, and TikTok's gonna say they drove the customer. We're gonna go to Super Affiliate, and they're gonna say an influencer drove the customer, but we use Measured, we use House, we use these tools, we use post-purchase surveys to identify where is this customer coming from, and then over time we're gonna see, oh, the influencer channel drove incrementality, this publisher drove incrementality, and then at that stage, it's not an attribution question anymore, it's an incrementality question. We spend into that equation as much as possible, right? So to answer your question, with high ticket items, we identify to see that all their channels are at full tilt, because one off channel can result in not a lot of sales, but we also attract affiliates and influencers by giving them CPL-based campaigns, right? So you give me a lead that's qualified, I'll pay you $100 for it, but yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other last questions, or Michael, is that it for time? Yeah. That's it for time. That's the sign to end it all, guys. Thank you very much, everyone. Let's give them a round of applause.